little bit hello world from that part. Now in this body we want to create a form, or a basic additional addition calculator ki where we will take two numbers and we will going to calculate the number to the another page. So if you look at the example static website, so static website doesn't transfer data from one page to another page, right? But dynamic website do it. Now how dynamic website do it? Because you need to code in the backend, so we need to create servlet pages or servlet to create that can we can extract the data from the HTML part, and we can do some basic calculation or programming calculation that we want to do in the next page. So if you look into the form, so in form action, you will give the name of the next page, or let's create a, you can create the hyperlink also. Initially, if I'll teach you to create a hyperlink. So in next H2, we will create a hyperlink to the our, what to say, some HTML page, addition dot HTML page, addition HTML, or test serve HTML, test 10 HTML, let's test skill HTML. So we will do it to test 10.html. So we will send this hyperlink with this. So this is our addition, that is a home page in a website. So what is a home page in a website? Normally it's index.html. So whatever the page opens first time, whenever you will go to our domain name or a website, that's the home page or an index page of a website. So let's open our boot. So hello world is blue because it's a hyperlink, right? So whenever we click it, we will go to the test10.html. So we have reached to our test10.html. So we have what we created over here is like how to calculate addition. So if we will try to calculate 100 or 500, then submit, it should show us 600. So that's the basic programming that we have done on that servlet part. Now uh, so what this is, this requires a form, two text boxes and one submit button to do, right? So how we can create these things in HTML? Let's look into it. So what you can create a form action, like hyperlink. We have given the link for the next page. In the same way, in form action we will give the name to the uh, next pages or next servlet that we are going to call, but right now we don't have it, so we will leave it blank, form action, and just close the form. Now we need to create two text boxes. Input type text, just give them some name, number 1 and number 2. So this is the first text box, and then we will create another text box, name it n2, so that we can pull the data out of these in later stage. And type input type submit to create a basic submit button. Right. So if just look into this now, after changing these things. So how our bootcamp look like? So bootcamp is also having now two text boxes and one submit button. Now whatever we try to enter as a HTML, it will not going to reflect, right? It's not going to do anything because it's going nowhere. uh, Second, you can use JavaScript to provide basic things like don't leave blank these numbers, or whenever clicking you can show them the custom message ki don't leave blank the text boxes, you have to enter few data to perform the numbers. So now we will go to our second part, okay, how we can use servlet to clear it out. Now we will do one more thing. In web.xml you insert the name of a welcome file. So whenever a project is running, there is an mapping of those files that is there. So welcome file list, in welcome file list you give the first name test1.html. That is why test10.html is opening up in the first time. So you can set it up over here, bootcamp.html. now whenever we'll run this program, uh, this will automatically open the bootcamp.html initially. So this is the first time, and now directly bootcamp.html is opening up. There is nothing showing over here, right? So that's how you can set up the index file or a home file for a project in uh, advanced Java. So there is a web.xml that is known as the deployment descriptor. So you have the all the details related to deployment into this file. Okay, what is the path of a servlet, what is the name of a servlet, how you are going to map it, right? So now in this bootcamp.html, what we are going to do now, we want something that can extract the data. Let's go to the, then let's create a servlet. So servlet is boot servlet, and sometimes you will find some error. Just like if we are going to run it, it will show me कि, okay, this is already added. So we have add information to deployment descriptor. That's the way that our ID will automatically include that servlet into deployment descriptor. Right. So you will find few predefined information, predefined functions over there, or predefined classes also. So we will explain it. First we will try to execute it once, so that you can understand what kind of outcome we can create. After that we will explain each thing, okay, what classes required to create a servlet, what kind of functionalities you need to override, or create the full functionality of a servlet. So now if you are working into NetBeans, you don't find these things onto javax.servlet packages. So in NetBeans, it is like Jakarta. So the package name has been changed for NetBeans. So you can, if you are using NetBeans, so then you can start importing Jakartas, uh, or you can just rename everyone from JavaX to Jakarta. So your error will be removed. So the package name is Jakarta for the NetBeans. So if you are using Tomcat or maybe Eclipse, so there will be JavaX, right? JavaX.servlet package. So now you can run it, and we will call this boot servlet through our form action. So let's search first of all ki is boot servlet is here, or you can check in the list also, okay, the boot servlet is reached over here or not. So no matches is there, so boot servlet is not added into this. So what do you have to do, you have to create four things for the adding a boot servlet. So over here first thing is creating the servlet name and servlet class. so it will be the same as the name of a file and name of the class. So like boot, and this is like same as our the class name or a file name. So boot servlet over here, then boot servlet over here, and servlet mapping is the same, and the URL pattern. So we can change the URL pattern in future. I'll show you the example how it works and what is the purpose of boot servlet or maybe URL pattern. So now boot servlet is mapped in the web.xml. Now in boot HTML you can call it through this. Okay, form action will be go to the boot servlet. Now just save it and execute it once. So over here whatever you want to enter you can enter. Right now there is no features. Whenever you click on submit you will go to the servlet boot servlet at gp2, and you can see in URL you are already reached to our servlet, a dynamic page. So you can code over there as Java programmer, and you can create output as a Java programmer. You can do calculation, you can run loops over there as a Java programmer. So what you can do in this now, what we will do, we want to capture the data from the n1 n2. So whatever data user want to enter into these text boxes, if user enter 100 or 200 whenever they submit, so you can do multiplication or whatever, but yeah, let's go for the addition only, a basic mathematic formula. Submit 100 plus 200 and the output should be here. Okay, the value of n1 is 100, n2 is 200, and summation is 300. So this kind of output we want to give in this. So let's create few variables like int n1, int n2, and int sum. So in n1, if you want the value of n1, what you can do? So there is already a predefined what to say parameters or object of a class HTTP servlet request and HTTP servlet response. So request will help you out to get data from the client side, and response help you out to send data to the client side. So n1 request, so we are receiving data from a client. So request dot get parameter and the name of that parameter. So name of that parameter is n1. So whatever the value n1 has, it will be converted, and it is showing error because we have created the variables into integer, but this returns as a string over here. This function will return the value as a string. So we need to convert that. So you can create the integer, and you can parse int. You can convert that integer into string into an integer. So it is create class field integer. What's this? Okay, integer spelling is wrong. Integer. And you can do the same thing with the second variable also. N2 is equal to integer dot parse int. So parse int is a predefined function. Over there you can pass the same thing, request dot get parameter of n2. So the both value will be there. Now we can do sum is equal to n1 plus n2 that we do in basic Java, and over here whatever you want to write on a HTML page or a web page, so you can use the object of HTTP servlet response, and we have already created the object of print writer, that is out. So system out dot println used to write on console, and over here we can use out dot println to write on our web pages or as a HTML. So over here we can say n1 is equal to plus n1, and you can write this println n1, n2, and sum. So that's an n2. So this will be our object and the perfect output. So let's clean build it and run it once. So like if we will enter 200, 300, the output should be 200, 300, and 500. So N2 is 200, N2 is N1 is 200, N2 is 300, and total sum is 500. So that's how you do basic calculation in servlet, and that's how you retrieve parameters from different web page. So right now we are on a servlet page, not an uh, bootcamp.html. So that's how you retrieve data from another web page, do some calculation, and show the output to the user.